No, it's not James Bond, and it's not even a James Bond gun, but this looks like the gun that they used, I think, in the poster for Thunderball. This is the High Standard Flight King. And I'm Alan. This is Alan's Firearms and Guns Plus More. So this is the Flight King. This, not this particular model, but the High Standard 22 in this configuration for the most part was the benchmark of all 22 pistols. It's light, it's slim, it's comfortable, the ergonomics are great, it's got a thumb rest on the grip, it fires beautifully, it shoots unbelievably. I can't pull the trigger, it's a 22, don't try fire 22s. And it's easy to take apart, which you'll see at the workbench. But this was the standard that all 22s tried to meet, was the high standard. And it was the benchmark. And that's why the Browning Buckmark looks so much like this. It's they for the most part, they try to copy this as close as possible because couldn't get much better than it. The Ruger 22, the Mach 1, 2, and 3, yeah, they took over the spot for benchmark, but that's because I have a feeling, High Standard was not a very expensive gun, but it had all the specialty parts, came with weights and everything for the competition shooter. When competition shooting fell out of favor, people didn't shoot so much. Basically in the 60s, after Robert Kennedy and John F. Kennedy were assassinated, LBJ did a big hit on firearms, and where it used to be every high school school district had a rifle range and they'd compete. Now they don't compete anymore. They stopped that back in the 60s. They made guns a pariah. But back in the day, everybody had guns. Everybody had 22s. And this was one of those. So without any further ado, let's take a look at an American classic on the workbench. Let's field strip it, clean it, lube it, and put it back together again. Here we are at the workbench with the High Standard. This is the Flight King, and it is a very light, very nice, balanced 22. The sights on here are not great. You have a slotted rear sight, and you have a post front sight, and there's a little red that was on there that's coming off. This is a nice little gun, though. It locks back on empty magazine. It has a European-style mag release on the bottom, and it has a slide release right here. Here is your safety, and here's your takedown switch. So to take this firearm apart, all we have to do is push that button, and this comes right out. It just slides forward right on here, and then we can move this forward, and we have the firearm field stripped. Very simple, very nice. Got a nice big button on here to make it easy to load. So, best way to clean this, use a little strike hold. I use strike hold. I have a couple of videos on it. You can find out more about it. It's a one-process cleaner. You clean it with this and you're done. This will clean it, lube it, and protect it. If you're using regular gun cleaner, then you must lube the gun after you clean it. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is wipe down all of the inside of this gun. And you can see I'm getting a lot of dirt on it. My buddy who actually lent this to me, because I didn't have one in the shop, told me he's really never fired it, so he's never taken it apart and cleaned it. So he's doing me a favor by lending me the gun to use in this video, and I'm doing him a favor by making sure when I give it back to him, it's nice and clean. Okay, I'm getting here. I'm getting all these little spots. You want to get down into these like little crevices, use a stick, and that's the best way to get there. To get down into the mag well, you just put it on barrel cleaning rod, and that way you can get up and down into here. Go from both sides. Okay, I just took another rag. Now, what I want to make sure I do, I put it on this stick so I can get down into these slots. I want to get these slots nice and clean. Okay, now I want to do the same thing with underneath the barrel. And get the barrel face nice and clean. Okay, now I'm going to take this stick. This is a little different. It's got a point on it. I want to get in here where the extractor gets into. I'm going to make sure that piece is clean. Okay. Okay, so in order to clean the barrel, I have this nice little patch that I just cut. I'm going to put it on this stick, put some gun cleaner on it, and just going to go in and out. In and out. Do that 2 or 3 times. Okay, so now the barrel is nice and clean. And now we want to get, of course, the slide. And I'm going to use the stick to get into all these little slots in here. Lots of little slots. I'm going to make sure I get the rails on the slide nice and clean. And all of the places that's hard to get to. And now I want to get the bolt face, get underneath the extractor, get all that nice and clean. Okay, and now the magazine. Okay, so now that we've gotten this gun cleaned, let's take 3 drops of oil, put it on a cloth. 1, 2, 3. So the first thing we want to do is lubricate the slide rails. Just run this a couple of times in there. Hit the whole inside with oil. Every place that I touched it with cleaner, I've got to hit it with oil because we want to deactivate that cleaner. Remember, if you're using Strikehold, you don't have to do this. Get all the slots. Get the back of that. If you ran cleaner over the outside of the gun, you want to hit it with oil. I'm going to add a little more oil to this rag because we're going to do these slots first. We want to make sure we get those nice and lubricated. Tops, sides. I'm going to take this off and I'm going to get the rest of the firearm. Make sure I get the ramp. And of course, since we cleaned the inside, we want to hit it with oil. Same way. You saw how I used this rod inside the barrel. You want to do the same thing with oil. Now I use Strikehold and I don't have to do it, but if I use cleaner, you have to take a little patch and run it through there with oil. I'm not going to do it again. It's just going to take up too much time and it's not necessary for me to do that. Clean out all of this with oil, hit it with oil. Oil. Now, the whole thing is oiled. Now we could put it back together again. And hopefully it will go back together again as easy as it came apart. So, I'm going to take the slide. I'm going to put that on first. Yes, that went on beautifully. Isn't that nice? I'm going to put this on and I'm going to see if I can lock it back. And it locked back. Now, that gives me plenty of room to deal with the barrel. I push the little piece in, I let it go, pull it, perfect. There we go. So there we go. We're finished cleaning and lubricating the high standard 22 Flight King. That's about how 90% of the high standards are taken apart. There are some deviations and there's some other ones out there that do it a little differently. But for the most part, most of them do come apart that easy. The high standard Flight King. Hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for joining me for this American Classic 22 target pistol. Hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.